Welcome to The Confident Networker with your host, Simone Douglas. In each insightful episode, she chats with one of the leading people from the BNI and business world.
Alrighty, so on this episode of the Confident Networker podcast, I am joined by the awesome Alice from Palliative Design. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. So let's start off with, how long have you been in BNI for?
I have just reached over a year.
Wow.
That's
there
it.
There you go. That went really fast.
It went super fast.
Yeah.
The years, yes, they're all going fast. They merge into one.
So tell us a little bit, I suppose, about Palliative Design. So for the listeners who don't know you as well as I do.
We're a graphic design studio, and we do everything branding, basically, from logo design straight through to rolling it out on all your collateral, website design, and we work with developers and we have partners that we work with to better your brand. And we work with long-term clients. Ideally, there are the basis of Palliative Design really is to add value to everybody and help that consistency so they can do better. Yes, so we're graphic design. Started out as a one woman show 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was running a studio in Sydney and I thought, I need a break. I'll just go freelance for a while, and then it went insane really quickly at the GFC.
Oh,
so
wow.
I stepped into, in a sense, a gold mine, and I was crazy busy, which was great. But then I started the business in Sydney and then moved to Adelaide after I had my first child. And then it was just freelancers and help with, full-timers, and they moved on, and part-timers, and then just slowly growing in an organic way. Yeah. Really. That's the natural progression.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you joined BNI a year ago.
That's right.
So how much of your new business comes from referrals currently?
All new business. Referrals, yes. Well, part of networking, referrals.
Yeah, okay.
Solely.
So why is networking important to your business?
Hugely important. You have to be out there to know, for them to know who you are. Yeah. And also with branding, the service of a graphic designer is very trust-based, and also understanding how people think and understanding their briefing and what they are really after, and reading in between the lines and understanding that their personality is a big part of what branding's about. Even if it's they work for the business, how they communicate is how you understand how to brand.
Just getting out and about, because you network as much as I do. I run into you at events all over the place. Does it help you actually understand different industries better, so that you're almost like a chameleon when you sit down with a client?
Absolutely, 100%. It's because personality. Every brand or business has a personality, and then you have the people that represent that personality. And so, by networking, you get to understand how they think. To a degree, obviously, as much as they're going to give you. But then you understand more about their business, or you get to know about their business, and then how you can possibly help if they want to have a sit down and, about branding for me specifically. But also it's really about getting to know other people, so that when someone needs something, also they can go, do you know anyone that can do this? And then you can pass it on. I'm a big word of mouth, passer on, or I guess a referrer in a sense. It's a natural thing, because if you trust the person or that, I want that to people to all benefit from it.
Well, and it's the beauty of becoming like the centre of influence on your networks. Is like people, if you're top of mind all the time because you solve all their challenges, whether it's by passing them on to somebody else.
That's right.
But it's that instant gratification thing. People stop going to other people; they just come to you and go, Alice.
Yes, I get a bit of the. Although you can Google that, sure, I'll help you there. And I have no issue with that. And also because when it comes from someone's mouth as well, like you're putting your name on the line as well to pass on that referral. And I think it's like networking in the referral basis is huge, because that's how, we as fundamental human beings work. We are trust-based. It's if we hear from somebody and they did a good job, you're more likely to use them and then have your own experience and then work from there. And it's the natural progression. And it's easy to grow if you do the right thing. And so it's easy to pass on a referral if you know that they are doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a really good segue to, what is the best piece of networking advice you've ever been given?
Just go for it. And because the fear factor of networking when I first, when you
yeah.
first go in there, because I only started networking in Adelaide a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I never really networked. My word of mouth was when I went to clients, and then it just grew through that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, you know, a different part of my business then, and now it's more about growth, a more active growth.
Yeah.
And so getting past the fear, that build up, which happens when you continually do something and you practice, but mainly be yourself. And that's my advice to anybody, and I've been given that. Just be yourself. I'm not here to sell anything. I just actually want to get to know you. Yeah. And then from that, we'll see what happens. It's not I want to know what I'm going to get from you. Yeah. It's, we could click. We might, you know, start a friendship, a business friendship, whatever it is. Yeah. And then I get to know you, and then it's a natural. So when I see you at events, I can say hi, and then just have a good rapport. And, you know, it feels good to know people that are good people. Yeah. And the world is full of plenty of good people.
Yeah. And then business kind of takes care of itself.
That's really. Exactly right. Yeah. So I think definitely, because I actually was asked a couple of weeks ago, what would you advise? What would you give advice for networking? Completely be yourself. Yeah. Because you can pick them from a mile away when they're trying to. Yeah. And it's just not natural.
Well, and I think, you know, it's a really good point, because I, you know, often go out networking into a room of, you know, often blue suits. Yes. And then, you know, those rooms still exist.
Yes. They do, very much so.
But I would say I have a signature wardrobe that I live in, which is custom-made boots up to the knee, blue jeans, and, you know, some kind of semi-corporate casual attire. But
it's good.
Yeah, but it's, you know, everyone knows who I am, and they know what I'm about, and they know that I'm a kind of a spade person, and that when I look excited to see them, I'm genuinely excited to see them.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just human nature. Yeah. I think just drawn to your human side. Yeah. And it all takes care of itself. And I've gone to many blue suits, male dominant areas, and I just, you know, edge my way in, and I've had to just get used to that whole element, because that's a whole different ball game. Yeah. And personalities and the corporate personalities versus, you know, there's a way that they do business. Yeah. And then it's like breaking down the wall that they have up on, this is who I am as a corporate, and actually who they really are. And then once you get there, you're like, now we know. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we can really
have
talk.
A conversation. Yeah, absolutely.
That's exciting.
I think, you know, so we both have kids, and, you know, as mums with younger kids that still need you to be around all the time, how is it even possible to, like, contemplate something as structured as BNI, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I think my personality is I make a commitment and I stick to the commitment. Yeah. And so there was a large part of why I didn't actively grow or actively develop this side of my business, because I had really dependent children. Yeah. Now that they're a little older, they're all at school, and, you know, I've shifted gears. I have been able to find ways to make it work. Yeah. And so I think with anything, if you want it to work, you'll make it work. You have to make the sacrifices and make the choice to make it work. Yeah. The choices are you actually can stick to a lot of things, and you actually already do usually. It's just what is most important to you.
Where the priorities are. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, you know, when I first became a member of BNI, 9 years ago, there were no mid-morning chapters. It was all 7 a.m. So that commitment was saying to my husband at the time, I'm getting up and I'm going to be gone at 6 a.m. and I'll be back by, you know, 9 o'clock.
That's what stopped me. Yeah. Really, because I couldn't have, because my partner works early. Yeah. So it wasn't even an option.
There wasn't an option.
And I didn't think it was fair to get my mum or my mother-in-law to come in at 6. Yeah, that's right. And look after my children. And also it just, at that time, for me, it was not as important as me being in the morning. Yeah. And so the mid-morning one's great in that regard. And I still, you know, my kids are still really young, and I do need to help them pack their bag. You can do school drop-off. That's right. I need to do it. It's you know, my youngest is only in reception. Yeah. So she's not quite, I mean, she's very capable if you ask her. But, you know, she still needs to, you know, have a sandwich made and everything. And I want to also be there. for those moments. And so the mid-morning's fantastic for that flexibility. And you still can do business development through that.
And that applies to dads too.
100%.
Because I think often sometimes we have these conversations. It's like, as a mum in business, but as a parent in business.
It's the juggling.
Yeah.
It's a forever juggling act.
Yeah. So it helps if we can find something that's structured that can help us start the business, meet the people.
Absolutely. If anything, really, having 3 young kids, you need some structure.
Yeah.
You need to counterbalance the uncontrollable with something. Yeah, the chaos. Exactly. Because, I mean, you need some sanity. Yeah. And structure creates some sanity. And then the rest of it can do its thing.
Yeah.
But, that's where I need to be. I can do that.
So what has been the best introduction or referral that you've received so far from BNI, apart from doing the design for the first branded BNI vehicle in Australia?
Well, that's pretty big.
You did. Yeah.
How do I compare? Well, I've done some rebranding for some of my chapter members.
Yeah.
And a rebrand completely. Guana Legal, who just rebranded to Your Legal Partner.
Yep. See, and that's great because you get to go on the whole journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was so much fun to do and work with Maggie directly and understand the behind the scenes, because obviously in design you're always behind the scenes, and so everything before everyone else sees it. But being in a group, and she was like just doing some little drops on things are changing, and you're like, I know, I'm in the know. It's the small things, but just seeing also someone really get excited about their brand, because that's what it should be about. You should be excited about every element of your business, even though the mundane, it creates the other elements. So you have to have the balance, because it can't be all crazy. You've got the mundane that keeps that structure so that you have the fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So if you bumped into somebody at an event and they said, I've been invited to that BNI thing, but I'm really not sure if I want to go, what would you say? What's
stopping you?
Yeah, really? That's a really good question, yeah.
Well, because usually people, if they don't want to go, they've already got a decision in their mind or their own thoughts on it, but they don't know about it. Yeah. And I'm very much until you try it, and possibly try it more than once, because the first time can be a bit overwhelming, also because there's a lot of people in the room, and learning the structure of it, it makes sense. Because when I first looked at BNI, I did a Zoom, and I just went, whoa, and I didn't know anything about it. So I didn't know that I was going to get someone on the screen every 60 seconds saying their thing. So I was taken aback. I thought, okay, so now I know what to expect. I then went again, and then I could take it in a bit more, because I think also there's so much that goes on, and expectations versus reality. And then if you just break through that and just go, it is what it is, and I'm going to see how it can work for me, and if it does work for me. But ask the questions, talk to the people, obviously, and talk to a number of people, different groups. Everyone has a personality group, and it's great. And what you might gel with in some people, you might not gel in other groups, and that's just life. Yeah. So you join groups based on, well, is this work for me? Yeah. It makes no difference to if it was BNI to anything else. You should have the same approach. Yeah. Try it all.
Well, and the thing is too, like, I go to a lot of events at places, and I don't end up joining those groups, but I still go
and
network.
That's right, exactly. It's not going to stop you. Yeah. Otherwise, if you, I guess if you call it a philosophy, it's more, why not? Yeah. Really, it's like, what have I got to lose? I actually have nothing to lose, but I could gain so much. And even if I gain that's not for me, I don't then go, oh, wonderful, the wonder's gone because I've actually actioned it. And then I can move it on and then go, okay, so what is it? And then it's kind of like working out what that list of things that work for you and that what don't work for you. And the only way to discover it is actually to explore it all.
So I think, that just go for it and why not is such a great philosophy for life in general. And a lovely way to finish if we encourage our listeners
absolutely
to just go grab life by the throat and get out of it what you can.
Absolutely. There's so much there that people just don't even know how to tap into. So you just have to take the first step. Yeah, whatever it is, just do it. If you're wondering, just do it. What's the worst?
So, in the spirit of just doing it, it wouldn't be a BNI podcast if I didn't ask you who your ideal referral was. So if there was someone you could sit down and have coffee with or a wine with that would help you hit your next business target or take your business to the next level or achieve something on your bucket list, who do you want to have coffee with?
Who? Oh.
Or what kind
of person? I like, there's a couple, but I'll go with a business that is can be developed, but their branding isn't quite there.
Yeah.
But they're very much aware of even are open to having a chat about the importance of branding, because it's so important. It's more the open-minded person that I want to talk to, because as graphic designers, we're service-based. It is trust. We get a lot of, I'm the graphic designer in my business and I can do this. I use Canva, and that's fantastic. That definitely serves its purpose, but it doesn't give you the degree or the eye for design.
Yeah.
And each their own, but it's more like getting the person that is open to it and wants to really put their best foot forward.
Yeah.
Because branding is about that, and it's that consistency across the board. Because if you're spending all this time on your business, the fundamentals, the values, all the back end stuff, and yet that no one can see it from the front door,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And so that pride goes through, through forward and backwards continuously. And then people that come on board get that feeling, and then they take it on board too, because consistency is the key. If you do it internally, you'll do it externally automatically, and then it becomes a natural thing.
Yeah.
So, make it a habit. Branding is about making a habit. So anyone that wants to embrace the brand.
There you go. So if you're listening and you would love to embrace your brand, but right now you don't really want to give it a cuddle, then you're probably the kind of person that should be having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine with Alice. More importantly, if you know someone that's about to start a rebranding exercise or is starting a business and wants to get their brand right from the get-go, Alice would love to host them.
Absolutely. Even if you have an existing brand and you need more collateral packaging, we do everything. And we can take a brand that already exists with brand guidelines or without, create them for them. There's no limitations. Just because you have a brand and, I use this designer, but we don't do it too much. We can take a brand and take it to wherever you need to go, but also give you the power to be able to do things yourself, because that's really a big part of it too.
Alice, thanks very much for joining me on
the podcast.
Thank
you, Simone.
Thank you for listening to The Confident Networker. You can find more episodes and information at bnian.com.au/podcast.